It's time to open up the Anti-MacBook. And this unboxing experience is definitely not what you get from Apple. This is the Framework Laptop 16. It's the second device from Upstart laptop manufacturer Framework. And the goal here is radical upgradability and modularity. Look at all these little guys. We got micro SD, we got audio, we got HDMI, USB-A, USB-C, USB-C, DisplayPort, Ethernet. This is more ports in one little handful than Apple has ever offered in their history. Oh my gosh, look at this. Keyboard, spacer, LED matrix, numpad. This is a DIY laptop. This is so anti-Apple in like the best way possible. People that say the tech unboxing is dead have not unboxed a Framework. Oh, it's lavender. We have a lavender bezel. I'm on TV. Oh, dude, there's a screwdriver in the box. Off to the side here, we've got, what is this? USB-C and a power cable. I'm assuming our power brick over here. Oh, nope, that's nothing. There's the power brick. 180 watts. Let's go down a layer. Oh, there it is. Whoa, wow. That's a big boy. Oh my gosh. This feels like an ancient tome. More things lay in store down below. Is this? Oh, it's a spare expansion bay shell. This is actually the craziest unboxing of any laptop ever made, and I'm here for it. But before we put this all together, a quick word from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Tesson's new Universal Travel Adapter. In international travel, Tesson's universal adapter is basically as important as your passport, compatible with more than 200 countries and regions, and ensuring you can travel worry-free. And thanks to gallium nitride technology, it can offer up to 65 and 100 watt charging versions with both USB-C and A built right into it. Grabbing a Tesson universal travel adapter really helps when going abroad. It can also transform 4 different sockets into one universal AC outlet, allowing you to charge up to 6 devices simultaneously. And at just £1/3 of a pound, it can easily slip into your pocket or bag. Plus, its double fuse insulates your devices from electrical surges or unstable currents, and it even comes with a spare fuse to get you back up and running if there is a surge. This thing is truly the ultimate travel companion, so to learn more, check out the link in the description down below. And now let's get back to the video. All right, let's check out the Framework 16. We'll flip it over here. I like this. It's almost like a parchment paper. I feel like it's a very important notary document. That's a big laptop, I'll tell you that. Not very thick though, surprisingly. I mean, this thing is pretty svelte, I would say. So the first thing that we can do here is we can actually set up our I/O configuration however we want it. Basically, on the inside of all of these ports is a USB-C. And they have this proprietary little module that just slides right in and fits flush with the machine. You can actually 3D print your own modules. So people make all sorts of ports that you can put in them because it's just a USB-C adapter with the right shape. Speaking of USB-C, I think we're going to need some, so let's go ahead and put those in. Now I do have micro SD, but I don't really use that very much, so we'll just save that off to the side. You don't need a port, you don't put it in. Simple as that. And then we can lock those ports in place so they're not just gonna come flying out. So now we can go ahead and open it up, and there's no keyboard. I told you this is not a MacBook, okay? No one will ever be confusing this for a MacBook. But fortunately, we've got yet more configurable stuff to pick from over here. They slide. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. Dude, this is an insane laptop. So we can move this off to the side if we wanted to. And look, then we've got a numpad, which can, oh, it's magnetic. That's so good. This is like adult Legos. I love it. See, the one thing is I don't love this visually. It kind of looks a little off, but also I'm not a left-aligned trackpad guy. I'm a centered trackpad guy. That's a MacBook thing maybe, but I gotta have some semblance of normalcy here, okay? Credit where credit's due. That's the most amount of setup I've ever done without even turning on a device. God, I love filming videos like this, and if you like watching them, you should definitely hit the subscribe button right now. Do it, I dare you. Sam, do you want to bite? Ooh, RGB. So that was definitely the most unique unboxing experience of any laptop ever. But then again, this is basically the most unique laptop ever in pretty much every aspect, so I'm not really surprised. And the customization, the upgradability, the modularity isn't limited to the port layout and the keyboard layout. Oh no, it goes a lot deeper than that. See, customization is one thing, but upgradability is another, and Framework has you covered on both of them because they provide in the box the only tool that you will ever need to work on this laptop. When we remove everything from the keyboard deck, you might notice this black piece of plastic, and if we flip it up, it reveals some screws underneath. What the heck is this thing? Well, if we lift it up, you'll notice it has contacts underneath. This is a proprietary interconnect board, and it attaches the main logic board down below to the graphics daughter board up above. So if we pull out these two remaining screws, what we can do is simply remove the graphics card from the back of the laptop. That's 6 screws, and you've pulled the GPU. And what Framework has done here is find a really innovative solution to a problem that plagues a lot of laptops. It's pretty much unavoidable that laptops are gonna have a soldered CPU, but in gaming laptops, that usually applies to the GPU as well. Back in the day, there used to be a standard called MXM, which was a removable card for GPUs, basically a compressed PCI interface, but that doesn't really exist anymore, and most of the laptops that had it were absolutely ginormous. So this is Framework's solution for getting around that problem. It's still a regular soldered GPU, but on a much smaller board, which means that you can go on the Framework parts store and buy upgradable GPU modules directly from them. But boy, we are not done yet, because if we bring the laptop back, you'll notice that the screws are labeled. That's right, the instructions for disassembling this laptop are literally printed on it. We start over here by disconnecting this keyboard deck, and then we just follow the numbers to remove the keyboard deck. And if that wasn't enough, these are captive screws, which means they don't actually come out. You cannot lose them, you don't have to keep track of them. And just like that, we are in. And in here we have super easy access to our storage, our wireless card, our RAM, and a battery, which is only held in with 3 screws. Boom, battery out. And now to get the main board out, we just have this connection here for the fingerprint sensor, a pull tab for the speaker, 2 pull tabs for the display assembly, and our 2 antennas for the wireless card. And now it's a simple matter of removing the 6 labeled screws for the logic board. Bada bing, bada boom. That is freaking crazy. A whole main board, boom, just like that. And the thing is, when it's this easy to remove your main board, you can take your RAM, your storage, and your wireless card with you, go on over to the Framework parts store, and I could upgrade my Ryzen 7 main board to a Ryzen 9 main board extremely easily. And because you are likely going to keep this laptop for a number of years, the prices on those upgrades are going to go down. In fact, Framework even sells discounted main boards on their own store. So all of this means that every single component is easily upgraded and replaced. And if you crack the display, well, the bezel is magnetic and there's just a couple of screws holding that panel in, which means unlike on a MacBook where the entire assembly is fused together, you can replace just the actual panel itself. So in just a couple of minutes, we have now stripped the Framework Laptop 16 down to a completely bare chassis, all with 1 screwdriver. So let's grab a stopwatch here and see how long it takes to completely reassemble this laptop. And go. Six minutes and 16 seconds to go from a bare chassis to a fully built laptop. That is insane, dude. And look, Framework managed to build a laptop that allows you to do that while not making it hideous and bulky and gigantic. I mean, it's not tiny, it's a 16-inch laptop after all, but this thing is not really any more bulky or ungainly than other Windows laptops of this category. But with all that being said, the Framework 16 is not perfect, and there are some issues that I have with it. For one, there's the price. As tested, my machine is spec'd with 16 gigabytes of RAM, half a terabyte of storage, a Ryzen 7 CPU, and a Radeon RX 7700S GPU, and that comes out to around $2,200. And for that price, you can get very similar performance out of a Dell XPS 16, but with double the RAM and double the storage, albeit with a lesser display. And if you want to step up the customization with things like a numpad, LED matrix spacers, or RGB on the keyboard, those things can really add up. And then there's the performance. In Cinebench 2024, this guy scores 864, which trails both the M3 Pro and the M3 Max. Over in Blender, on the Classroom CPU test, you'll find that an M3 Pro MacBook Pro is again about 20 seconds faster, and the same is true for the Blender GPU test. Because this thing is running an AMD GPU, you don't get the benefits of rendering with optics, which makes NVIDIA GPUs a lot faster than what Apple and AMD can offer, but as tested, you can buy a 16-inch MacBook Pro for pretty similar money to this thing that is going to be more powerful, and because it's not a Windows laptop and it's running Apple Silicon, you won't have to deal with this. And there's not really anything Framework can do about that. That's just a limitation of AMD and NVIDIA and Intel as compared to Apple Silicon. But what is a limitation of a modular system like this is the battery life. We have an 83.5 watt-hour battery, which is significantly smaller than what you would get in a 16-inch MacBook Pro. So even though this thing is bigger and heavier, the battery life is nowhere near what you're gonna get out of a 16-inch MacBook Pro. And the same is true for the speakers. They're very easy to replace, but they're not nearly as advanced as what Apple has been putting in their MacBook Pros lately. But we have to keep in mind that the whole point of Framework as a company is a radical approach that is completely the opposite of what Apple is taking. That's going to come with some trade-offs, but also some benefits. I mean, as we've discussed, replacing literally any component on this MacBook Pro is darn near impossible. You crack a screen and buy one off eBay, you're going to lose out on features. If you spill water and zap your keyboard, well, congratulations, the whole top case is one piece. That's not the case over here. So the trade-offs cut in both directions, but what Framework is doing above all else is demonstrating that you can build a laptop that is consumer and repair friendly while still making money on it. I mean, look, it's no secret that Apple doesn't want you to upgrade components yourself because they can make more money if you do it through them. There's a reason why they charge $200 for 16 gigabytes of RAM. And if your storage space isn't enough or you break something on your computer, they would much rather you buy an entire new system than fix it yourself. But Framework's approach is different because it allows the customer to make their own decisions and upgrade components and repair their devices while still giving Framework profits. After all, if you want to upgrade the GPU, you're gonna have to buy it from Framework because it's proprietary. So you get the benefit of upgrading your GPU, and Framework gets the benefit of an additional sale when otherwise that might not be the case. I mean, look, 2 years into buying this laptop, it could be much easier for you to justify $400 for a new GPU as opposed to $2,300 for an entire new laptop. Take the Framework 13, for example. This thing came out with 11th gen Intel processors, and then the 12th gen came out, and I was able to upgrade this thing without buying a whole new laptop and dramatically increase its performance. And you can 3D print a case so that you can continue using your old mainboard as a standalone system, and people have even used 3D printing to make their Framework into a tablet or a desktop. And Framework is able to still make profit off of all of that freedom because you're still buying components from them. It's just a shame that Apple has chosen not to go in this direction because they used to. I mean, the 2019 Mac Pro had MPX modules available from Apple. They were making their money on the Mac Pro itself, and then making money again on the upgrades down the line. A pretty simple idea, but they're missing out on that completely, save for the storage upgrades that they will sell you for an Apple Silicon Mac Pro at exorbitant price tags. So the Framework Laptop 16, it's the anti-MacBook. It is everything that Apple stands against in the past couple of years, and I love it all the more for that. It may not be the perfect laptop, but it is an absolutely inspiring message to other manufacturers. Do stuff like this, please. I beg of you. So I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Let me know in the comments below which of these devices you would pick. Would you go for a 16-inch MacBook Pro or a 16-inch Framework? And of course, if you found this video helpful, I would very much appreciate if you left a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. And with that, I will see you in the next one.